Tennessee made a name for itself around the NFL during the decade. More alumni went to the NFL in the 90s than at any other period in school history. The number of Tennesseans on NFL rosters ranked among the top of all college programs. Tennessee had 50 players taken in the NFL draft during the 90s. An astonishing 14 volunteers were picked in the first round during the decade.
I think that's the important thing, or the big thing about Tennessee, is year in and year out, they have legitimate, good, top-notch football players come through this program, and that's why there's a lot of scouts and personnel directors come down here every year.
You go back to the Chuck Smiths, the Dale Carters, even last year with Al Wilson. I mean, we call it the run-hit factor, and they're always well coached. They're aggressive and run to the football, and when they arrive, they're in a bad mood, and it's just it's a great program.
At the end of the decade, Tennessee had the most players in the NFL among SEC schools. 34 is 9 more than the nearest conference rival. Speaking of NFL lineage, with Heath Shuler gone, Tennessee coaches hit the recruiting trail in search of a successor. Lots of stops were made and lots of miles were logged. But along the way, in early 1994, Philip Fulmer and David Cutcliffe knocked on one door in New Orleans.
It wasn't hard getting in the door because we just, had an opportunity for a young player here and had some success with quarterbacks recently, but to close the deal was the challenge.
When I chose Tennessee, I'd only been there one time for a visit. I'd never been to a football game before. I came one time in January of 1994. There was an ice storm there. It was cold. We couldn't even go in the stadium because the stadium was covered. So these were all the big selling points of Tennessee football. I didn't really get to experience those, but I just chose to go there just because I had a good feeling about it and just the good people there, and I knew it could be a special place.
And all of a sudden, here came this young man that I heard a lot about, but I didn't know if coming out of the school system he was coming out of, how long it would take him to make the strides he would need to make to be a good Division I college player. And as it turned out, we all found out that kid was a godsend.
I remember talking to my dad one afternoon about the weight coaches sent out programs, said we had to have a bench press test when we got there. And they said, you have a choice between doing 185 pounds or 225 pounds. You can do either one of those. And I didn't think I could lift either one of them. And I was really nervous about that. And I told my dad, because they said Brandon Stewart was a really strong guy. And I said, what am I going to do when I get up there? He said, son, they didn't recruit you for your bench press. They recruited you to play quarterback. Just go up there and work hard and just do the best that you can do.
Recruiting had been successful, but senior quarterback Jerry Colquitt waited his turn and in 1994 seized the reins. Peyton Manning and fellow freshman Brandon Stewart, along with sophomore Todd Helton, would battle for the backup role.
How things changed so quickly.
Tennessee opened the 1994 season at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena against UCLA. The game's first series proved to be one of the great heartbreaks of Tennessee football.
It was one of the saddest things I've ever seen in college football. Was when Jerry had paid that great price to stay the 5 years, and the 7th play of the UCLA game, he tears his knee up, can never play again.
The senior quarterback's career was over. Now the season rested on the arms of 3 inexperienced signal callers.
Then all of a sudden, Coach Fulmer comes over and tells me that I'm going to play, and everything really changed from that point on.
Helton, Manning, and Stewart all got a chance to play against UCLA. Helton got the bulk of the action and came close to pulling off a miracle. Despite his fourth quarter heroics, the Vols fell short by 2 points. Known more for his baseball skills, Todd Helton's days on the gridiron were numbered, and the Tennessee coaches knew it.
Originally, the plan, from what I found out after kind of my freshman year, was that Todd was really just going to be there for maybe the first 4 or 5 games just to help bring Brandon Stewart and I along. Then he was going to leave and go concentrate on baseball because that was really going to be his ticket. And then all of a sudden Jerry gets hurt, so they changed things for Todd as well.
Helton spent the next week settling into the role of Tennessee's new starting quarterback. Between the hedges in Georgia is no place to train a new quarterback. so David Cutcliffe leaned heavily on James Littleman Stewart. Stewart took control with 4 touchdowns and 211 yards rushing.
Pitch will go to Tennessee's tailback, and he's going to break one tackle, tries to get to the outside, does, turns the corner 30, has the ball 35, 40, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Touchdown, Tennessee!
Tennessee's defense was stingy around its end zone, and 23 points were all the Dogs could muster. Tennessee defied the odds and beat the Dogs 41-23. The following week, Neyland Stadium was primed and ready for the home opener against number 1 Florida. A national TV audience glimpsed the brilliant new emerald green grass of Shields-Watkins Field. Groundskeepers worked diligently all summer to ensure the field was the best in America. All agreed it was a job well done. After 25 years, the tartan turf was gone, and the Tennessee Volunteers were playing on natural grass. Todd Helton started the game, but after sitting out against Georgia, Peyton Manning got his feet wet. The Gators won 31-0. It was the first time Tennessee failed to score a point since 1981. A trip to Starkville was next on the schedule. It was the 3rd road trip in 4 games for the men in orange. Facing a rugged Bulldog defense, Todd Helton suffered a knee injury. Tennessee lost its 2nd quarterback of the season, and now it was time to call on a freshman.
We actually probably held him back a little bit, trying not to put too much pressure on him his freshman year to take over, but he went a lot faster than most people could ever have even imagined doing.
The cerebral Manning made the best of his opportunity. He threw for 256 yards and 2 touchdowns. By the 4th quarter, the Vols were up by 7. Good, but not good enough. State rallied for 10 points and the win. It was the turning point of the season and perhaps the decade. Philip Fulmer refused to let this team quit.
So I think Coach Fulmer really stuck his foot in the ground and just said, I'm not going to let this happen. I'm not going to, just because we're 1-3 and we can't win a SEC or national championship at this point, doesn't mean we're not going to try to win the rest of these games.
That team will always be really special to me because of the heart and character and the fight that they showed, and the loyalty to each other that they showed, and overcoming all kinds of adversities. Because those tough times, if you handle them right and you go through them and you make it, it lays the foundation to build your house on, and that's kind of what we were able to do.
We're 1-3 going in to play Washington State at home, who, like I said, had the number 1 ranked defense. You lose this game, you're 1-4. Tennessee's not supposed to be 1-4. That just doesn't happen.
Peyton Manning earned his first start the next week when Washington State came calling. Philip Fulmer was anxious to see what effect his pep talk had had on his troops.
This will be Phillips. Phillips breaks one tackle at the 34, at the 29, to the 30, to the 35-yard line, and he just keeps ramming and pounding and carrying defenders for a gain on the play of 13 yards.
The Cougars sported the nation's top defense, and Tennessee matched them blow for blow. The offense produced only 229 yards, but 62 of them couldn't have come at a better time.
The reverse on a pitch. Tennessee to the near side. Sylvan breaks it 40. Sylvan 45-50, 45-40, 35-30, 25-20, 15-10, 5. Touchdown, Tennessee!
It was the only touchdown of the game for either team. In a game marked by courage and the sheer will to win, Tennessee held off the Cougars 10-9.
If we would have lost that game, that really would have hurt us the rest of the season. But the fact that we did win that game, we beat a good football team, and really turned our confidence around.
But Tennessee has been known around here for a long time, with defense and picking. And defense, my hat goes off to you guys. Great job!
I think that laid the foundation for what you saw over the last 5 years with the success that we've had, which over that 5-year period, I think we were the winningest college team in the country.
By Tennessee, the Volunteers are racing toward the end zone. Into the checkerboard he goes as the ball was scooped up.
After a victory over Arkansas, Alabama came to town.
This will be Stewart fighting for a touchdown. Give him 6.
Tennessee's offense struggled as both freshman quarterbacks got a look.
Any natural competitor is going to want to be in the ball game 100% of the time, but I understood the situation, and if there were two freshman quarterbacks and both guys brought something to the table, so I didn't like coming out, but I understood when they took me out that sooner or later I would get back in.
Who was going to be the best, he or Brandon Stewart, you know, and Brandon was a different type quarterback, and Peyton was more of the pure drop-back pass quarterback.
The easy thing to do is to try to force something good to happen while you're in there, because you figure if you do something great, they won't take you out. Well, they were going to take you out no matter what, so you might as well just try to make smart decisions.
Alabama took the victory, but Peyton Manning took the lesson. From there, Tennessee regrouped, and a winning streak commenced. Peyton Manning threw 3 touchdowns to lift the Vols past South Carolina. Memphis would fall next, and Kentucky would be blasted the next week.
Manning in trouble. Manning rolls to the near side. Looks for the football. Could run with it. Manning at the 10. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Touchdown, Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning was settling in as the Vols starting quarterback.
Peyton Manning going deep to a wide open receiver. Give him 6. Touchdown, Joey Kent.
I'll tell you, the main guys I leaned on was that veteran offensive line that I had. It was Kevin Mays was a senior, then I had Jeff Smith, Bubba Miller, Jason Lehman, and Leslie Ratliff, and that was a real veteran group. And I tell you, without those guys, it would have been a lot harder. And then, of course, I had Aaron Hayden and James Stewart in the backfield, 2 senior running backs, and that can make a freshman quarterback feel a lot better. It just gave me a lot more confidence.
Against Vanderbilt, Tennessee racked up a school record of 665 yards in total offense. With a 7-4 record, a bid to play Virginia Tech in the Gator Bowl was enthusiastically accepted.
Manning, play action, back to throw, long pass, man wide open. Can he make the catch? Oh, what a diving catch! Complete, Joey Kent.
Joey was a guy I can remember as a freshman when we were out there throwing in the off season, and the coaches are not allowed to be there. And they would ask me who looks good out there. I just said, this guy Joey Kent, he can go out and get the ball. And sure enough, the 3 years he and I had together were so much fun. He did so many great catches, so many good things with the ball after he caught the ball. And he and I had a really special connection.
This bowl game had a familiar feel. Because of construction at Jacksonville Stadium, the contest was moved to Gainesville. Gator fans couldn't have been pleased to see a checkerboard end zone painted in their beloved swamp. The Big Orange dominated this 50th edition of the Gator Bowl. James Stewart ended his Tennessee career as the all-time leading rusher and ran for 3 touchdowns. Tennessee used a quick strike attack, scoring 35 points in the first half. Peyton Manning finished his rookie campaign hitting Marcus Nash for a score.
Tennessee, this will be Manning throwing the ball deep downfield to a man who races into the end zone. Give him 6. Touchdown, Marcus Nash.
Tennessee weathered a difficult year with an 8-4 record and a Gator Bowl victory. It set the stage for some big years ahead with Peyton Manning at the controls.